Hi VisionCast family, this is Carolyn Linton, creator of The Vision Project. So today I'm here with a guest, Larry Daniels, who is a certified Napoleon Hill instructor. So I'm a big fan of Napoleon Hill. His book entitled Think and Grow Rich is one of my favorites. And him and I think very much alike. We're very into self-development, mindset, having a big vision. And without further ado, I would like to introduce Larry Daniels. Hi, Larry. How are you?
Hello, Carolyn.
Hi. So could you tell us a little bit about how personal development changed your path in life and why it's so important to you?
Absolutely. Thank you. Well, I wasn't even aware of what personal development was. Growing up as a child or growing up as a young man, I wasn't aware what personal development was. I was very into football. I grew up in Maryland, just outside of Washington, D.C., and I was a Washington Redskin fan. And there was a gentleman that came to coach the team called Joe Gibbs. Many people know who he is. He's a very successful football NASCAR team owner. And they had a lot of success when he was in Washington. They won 3 Super Bowls. And he had wrote a book called 4th and 1. And I was super, super excited to get that book because I love football. And when I got that book, I found out that book was about 10% about football and about 90% about life. And so that's what started that path, because no one had ever taught me about setting goals. I mean, I was brought up in a family where you work. That's what you do. You go to school. Only one of my siblings ever graduated. When we all got old enough to drop out, we dropped out, we got jobs, and we thought the way to life was you work and you work hard. Mm-hmm. Simple as that.
I think a lot of people have that mindset too, right? So it's almost like until you're even introduced to this, you're not. Most people aren't even aware that there's a whole other world out there, right?
Absolutely. I mean, we were taught things like, and it was just, hand-me-downs from my parents' parents. They grew up in an entirely different town, but, we were just taught that, those things aren't for people like us. We don't own businesses. We don't start businesses. We work. That's what we do. That's what my dad did up until the day he died. That's what my mom did up until she just couldn't do it anymore. And so there was never any of this. There was never talk of us going to college, getting a further education. There was never anything like that. I mean, we knew growing up that it was go to school. And like I said, when you were old enough to drop out, which was the age of 16 in Maryland, you dropped out and you got a job. School was not. My dad wasn't very big on school. He didn't teach. Go to school, graduate, move on. So we all did exactly like many other people. We did exactly what our parents taught us to do. And
sure, that's pretty much all you know, right?
Exactly. And fortunately for me, I always had, and I always say I was different than my brothers and sisters. I always had interest that my brothers and sisters didn't have. And so I got this book and I was just blown away by this concept. And then I really didn't do anything with it. And then years later, if you remember these, I stumbled across somehow I got a series of tapes from Tony Robbins, Awaken the Giant Within.
Yeah, big fan of Tony.
Again, and I can remember watching Tony on late night infomercials, and I was like, I so wanted to buy his stuff, but I was so broke I couldn't do it. I can't even remember what the price was back then, but I could not even afford to buy his program. So, I would pick things up at thrift stores. We didn't have Amazon and all that back then, so it was kind of like the knowledge was a little harder to come by. And I didn't enjoy reading back then. I really didn't. So it was kind of like, for so many years, like well over a decade, little things just kind of dripped on me until I finally really kind of grasped it and said, hey, there's something to this.
That is awesome. So you through self-development, it sounds like you actually, well, that and having a vision, you went from worker to creator, correct?
Absolutely. Yeah. I went to, and see, this is the thing that I want everybody to understand. You know, I went from worker to creator to losing it all and back to worker again. So it's not straight up. It's not like you grasp this concept and then the whole world opens up and everything is just, sunshine and roses. It's a journey, and you're gonna, in those peaks and valleys, you're gonna grow in the peaks, and then you're gonna learn in the valleys, and that's gonna take you to an even higher peak. And so, that's my main thing, is not wanting people to get discouraged and think, oh, I'm just gonna read this book and everything's gonna be okay. No, it's a journey. It's a lifelong journey.
Sure, absolutely, I agree. And even when you said you lost it and you went back to worker, you never lose the knowledge that you've gained. So from all of the books that you've read, and as long as you treat those experiences as a learning opportunity, why did this fail? Now, like you said, then you have the ability to reach even higher levels. You just have to look at it and pull the lessons from it and extract it. But no matter what, you'll never lose all of that education and all that experience that you've gained along the journey.
Absolutely not. It's a process, and Robert Kiyosaki, author of Rich Dad Poor Dad, says you either win or you learn, and that's how we need to look at things. Sometimes we win, sometimes we learn a very valuable lesson, but it was obviously very important for us to learn that lesson in order to propel us to the next level.
Absolutely. And how many millionaires, I've heard countless stories of people who have become millionaires. They've opened up their own businesses, then they lost it all, but then they became millionaires again, because again, they learned from their mistakes, and you can never take that back.
Absolutely. We've read it all, and it's the same thing. I'm a certified Napoleon Hill instructor through the Napoleon Hill Foundation, and I tell people all the time, if the only book you've ever read by Napoleon Hill is Think and Grow Rich, you don't know Napoleon Hill. Because the one thing that I like about Napoleon Hill, he was very transparent about his successes and his failures. In the Great Depression, he lost everything just like millions of other people did. He worked so hard and he lost everything and had to start over again. So you're not, adversity and defeat is not unique to you. If you're an entrepreneur, if you're going after a huge dream, a huge goal in life, you're going to experience adversity and defeat. And if you don't experience adversity and defeat, then you're not even trying.
I love that. Absolutely. Because any entrepreneur will tell you that same thing, right? There is no such thing as just a constant upward climb without any valleys, without any obstacles. And if that does exist anywhere, then they're not living full out, or they're not even coming close to reaching their full potential. They're just playing everything super safe.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
And we have so many people in our life doing that. I mean, Napoleon Hill teaches 98 out of every 100 people do not have a definite major purpose in life. They do not have a definite goal, a definite chief aim, something that they're going after. And if you really take the time, Carolyn, which I know you do, interviewing people, if you really ask people, I ask people all the time, and most people, they tell me things that they would like to do, but they don't have anything concrete.
Right. Absolutely. And I think, why do you think that is?
I think it's fear. It's fear of failure. It's fear of what other people will think. It's some of the same fears that we all go through. I'm sure, Carolyn, you went through it as I do. Mm-hmm. Who am I? Who am I to teach the principles of Napoleon Hill? Who am I to think that I have the ability to help somebody else achieve great success? Who am I to coach another individual? That's it. It's self-confidence. It's fear.
And imposter syndrome is what you were explaining, right?
Yeah.
Who am I?
And family and friends. family and friends, tell you, hey, when you going to quit that nonsense and get a real job? You know, why don't you go back and get an education? Why don't you, all of these things, and you have all these people, and you feel like the black sheep because everybody else is conforming to society. They're on that the 2020 plan or whatever it is. You grow up for 20 years, you work for 20 years. I know that I'm not quoting that correctly, but it's like everybody else is conforming, and they don't understand why. Why can't you just be like everybody else? Why can't you be happy with what you got? Why can't you just get a job and work and retire and just be content?
And those people are the ones who aren't living their life to the fullest, to their full expression, right? Just conforming. I mean, how much of an enriched life is that? Like, I'm just going to go along and do what everyone else does. That doesn't sound fulfilling.
Exactly. And anybody that knows Babe Ruth had the most home runs of anybody in history, but he also had the most strikeouts of anybody in history. He swung for the fences every time. And years ago, I was out with a relative, and I think it was an intervention, I'm not sure, sort of speaking. They were like, Larry, when are you going to stop chasing this dream, and you're gonna get a job? I can help you. You can do this. That. And I said never. I said I would rather swing for the fences and miss, and end up in the poorhouse at the end of my life, than I would to give up on my dream. And their response was, well, that's probably where you're going to end up at. Well, I have news for them. That's not where I'm going to end up.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And it never ends until you stop trying, right? So if something doesn't work, then you adjust, you pivot. And that's part of the reason why I created the Vision Project. So it's, I know what it's like to want to live out your dreams and live a life of passion and fulfillment. And the Vision Project is your daily dose of inspiration, knowledge, encouragement, because I know what that's like, right? It's very easy to get discouraged. But if you can have a little piece of motivation and encouragement and inspiration every single day, a little piece in that, your brain becomes rewired. Your reticular activating system pays attention to everything that you need to pay attention to, that's going to get you to that next level. So it actually rewires your brain.
Absolutely. You gotta have a daily routine. Absolutely.
Yes, 100%. So, Larry, if you had one piece of advice to give to our audience, what would that be?
Never give up. That's my motto. Never give up, never back down. It's so funny that I just have something. It came to me last night. My wife shared it with me. And the one thing you got to have in your life is someone who supports you, who's got your back, a spouse, a significant other, somebody that always has your back. And I have a wife of 32 years who's never, ever given up on me through all the hard times. You need that individual. But my wife shared something with me last night, and I'm a very big music person. I love music. I draw a lot of inspiration, and music can change your mood like that. It can take you back to a time in your life in an instant, and it can elevate your mood instantly. Probably one of the only things that can do that. And she sent me this song. It's called "Till You Can't" by Cody Johnson. He's a country music singer. And the lyrics in there goes, if you got a chance, take it. Take it while you have the chance. If you got a dream, chase it, because a dream won't chase you back. So
love that.
Just know that all of your doubts, all of your fears, they're in your head. Mm-hmm. Whatever it is that you want to do, whatever it is that you dream of doing in your life, you absolutely have the ability to do that. Just don't give up, because the only way that you ever lose is if you quit. Robert Schuller, founder of the Crystal Cathedral out in California, said, success is never ending. Failure is never final.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing, Larry, and for being a guest on our episode. Really appreciate it. And yes, audience, Larry is definitely someone who has gone forth and is awesome. If you're interested in learning more about the Vision Project, which is the blueprint for turning your dreams into reality, then please click and subscribe. You can also go to vpmanifest.com for more details. Please share this episode with anyone you want to see live their best life. And as per usual, go forth and be awesome.